When most people think about overspending, typically what they will think about is things like big purchases, such as a car or a house. Other things that people will typically think about are luxury items, such as buying some Gucci purse or Louis Vuitton wallet. Gold, jewelry, diamonds, all these things aren't necessarily what overspending actually looks like. When it comes to overspending, it really boils down to spending way more than what's in your budget. And today I will be talking specifically about eating out. Now, I'm going to be talking about Chick-fil-A, but do not think that you're off the hook just because you don't eat Chick-fil-A. This can go for McDonald's, Wendy's, KFC, Sonic. It goes for all the places. You're not cut out. Don't think that you're good. Now, let me preface this before I get deep into this video. Spending money isn't a bad thing. Going out and eating out isn't a bad thing. It's about when you're spending over budget. So if you sit down and you think, okay, spending $100 right now isn't in my budget. Well, you're still spending $100. You're just spending it in smaller increments. So I'm going to break this down for you really quick so that it's easier to understand. Let's say the average amount that you're spending on a meal out just for yourself is $15. So this may change depending on your state because, of course, there's different costs of living, different minimum wages, all that stuff. So this is kind of just an overview. $15 for one meal doesn't sound too bad, generally speaking. But let's say you spend $15 a meal, 3 days a week, 4 weeks a month. That is going to come up to $180. Given this, let's calculate the average income. The average income for a single adult in America is roughly around $5,000 without tax. So with $5,000, typically the people who make $5,000 fit into this 25% tax. So we're going to take this number and automatically subtract about $1,250. Rent. Next, we're going to talk about one of the biggest expenses for an adult who is living alone in America, which is rent. And this also heavily depends on where you live, but average I'm going to put down is $1,650. So I'm going to quickly calculate how much you actually have because we already just ate into like half your money right here. Okay. So as of right now, you have $2,100. Think this is a decent amount for the month? Well, it gets worse because now we need to subtract utilities for where you live again if you are renting. And then we also need to subtract the average amount for subscriptions and things like your phone bill and everything like that. Next, the average spent amount for groceries is about $400 because again, you're not eating out the entire time, you're just eating out some of the time. And all of this will leave you with a whopping $1,375. Oh, that's not a lot, baby. So given this number, now we need to subtract the $180 that you're spending on eating out every single month. This is going to leave you with $1,195. Now, this number right here does not include absolutely everything in your life. Think about going out, think about gas, think about car repairs, think about pretty much anything extra that you need. If something breaks, you need to replace it. If your refrigerator goes out, you need to replace it. If your oven goes out, you need to replace it. There are a lot of things that could go wrong during this time. And mind you, a lot of emergencies do cost more than $1,000. So considering the fact that you're only making $1,195, if you have a $1,000 emergency, you're going to be left with $195 at the end of the day. And that doesn't even count how much you're paying for things like gas, which in my personal experience for my car, when I was driving around quite a bit for work and everything like that, I was spending roughly around $55 every 2 weeks to fill up my gas, which equals $110. So let's say you have an $1,000 emergency plus how much you are paying for gas every single 2 weeks or however it may be, and it's around the amount that I'm spending on gas, then you would be left with $85. It's very easy to overlook a lot of expenses, and again, not a bad thing to eat out, but if you have multiple small expenses like this, it will add up. I personally have found this to be true myself. I am not speaking from a place of not being a victim, okay? I have had a ton of money disappear, and I was sitting here like, excuse me, why is my savings account not going up? And why is my checking account really empty? And then I went through my bank statements and I saw that I was literally eating all my money away. Like, I was going out to eat multiple times a week, and it did add up at the time. You know, the $12 didn't make a huge difference. The $20, the $22, it didn't make a huge difference. But after a while, it does make a difference. In fact, considering this number, if you're spending $180 a month on eating out and just that, you will be spending $2,160 a year. With this type of money, honestly, I wouldn't say that it's revolutionary or anything like that. But what I will say is that's the money that could go into your emergency fund. That's the money that can go into your retirement. That's the type of money that can go into your investment account. And if you calculate this over a larger span, like, there's a lot more things that you could do with that money that would make a really big impact on your life. You could spend that money on going to get a certification course. You could save some of that money up in regards to having it for your future degree. You can use that in investing in whatever ventures that you want to do. And eventually, that $2,160 may not be that much in general, but if you use it in the right way, you can turn that $2,000 and something dollars into your future. So little things like that do matter. And you may be sitting back wondering, like, okay, cool, nice to see all the numbers, but what am I going to exactly do about it? Because yes, there are many situations where it's very difficult to not eat out. And with that, I will say that I will be making another video fully breaking down how to survive off of a cheaper budget and how to budget your money so that you do not spend as much as you're spending right now. But there are a couple tips that I will include in this video that I will also include in the next video, and that's going out and buying pre-made meals. You could go to the salad section and they will have like pre-made salads that you can eat. You could go to the sandwich section, get pre-made sandwiches. Now again, this is not the jam for everybody, but if you're on the move and you're on the go, this is way better and way healthier than spending $15 on a meal that's probably going to make you sick within the next 10 years. So I really do hope that this video really did helps break down the amount so that you can calculate it for yourself even on how much that you're spending. If you did enjoy, please consider subscribing to my channel so that you can continue growing on your financial journey as I grow on mine. I hope you have a great day. I hope you have blessed finances, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.